Aubrey, a good day to you. How are
Good day
you?
to you. I am excellent. How are you doing, Jessica?
I'm fantastic. Guys, I want to remind you that we put all of these podcasts on our YouTube channel, IELTS Energy TV. And my positive focus today, because here at Allers English, every time we talk to each other, we always start with a positive focus. And I love this as an idea for everyone out there. But my positive
Yes.
focus is my earrings. You can see them on YouTube.
They're so
Um,
cool.
my son found them for me, and they're made from old photograph negatives. So if you don't know what that is, go to YouTube and you'll find out because you'll see it on my earrings. Anyway, so very positive day today. What are we talking about today, Aubrey?
This is exciting. You guys, we got a really good question about
So
something that
good.
happened to one of our listeners on their IELTS speaking exam that could definitely happen to you guys. We want to make sure that you're prepared and know exactly what to do.
Hmm.
So, this is going to be very helpful. But first, we want to make sure that you guys are aware of our IELTS speaking challenge starting tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. So stay tuned, you guys, for the details because we will be revealing the details tomorrow. I think it's perfect. We're talking about difficulty on IELTS speaking part two today because if you challenge yourself, right, to become fluent by speaking out loud every day, by doing more in English, if we can help you do that, guys, we want to. So we have designed a whole 30-day challenge for you guys, and we will tell you about that tomorrow. We just want to tell you to stay
Yes,
tuned. Don't
be
miss
ready.
tomorrow's episode. Okay, Aubrey, can you read this listener's question, please? Aubrey and I are so delighted with this question,
I know
by
it
the
is
way.
an excellent question. I think it's going to be very helpful for everyone listening. So here's the
Hmm.
question. I watch all your videos. Oh, thanks. And today was my IELTS speaking exam. I tried to do well, but unfortunately, in the 2 minute topic, so part two, I was off topic. The examiner asked me about my favorite traditional product, and I told her about a traditional watch. I got confused because I did not know the meaning of tradition. Can you please tell me
Mm,
how can I guess and how can I guess what my speaking band would be? Unfortunately, we get that question a lot like, what score am I going to get? Which is impossible to say without having heard your whole exam. But we
right.
can tell you how that mistake can affect your score.
Exactly. So this mistake, and here, spoiler alert, I don't think it's a mistake, but this
It's
mistake,
possible that it was just fine. Yeah.
right? So, but we'll get into that. This is why we're
Hmm.
so delighted today because this
Right.
is like such a fun thing to talk about. But if you do make a mistake like this, you misunderstand a word in the question, it could affect your fluency score, of course. But what if like your vocab and your grammar are fantastic and you're only slightly off topic? Then you could still get a really good score. Remember, guys, the four categories that you're graded on in speaking: fluency, grammar, vocab, pronunciation, they're all of equal importance. So if one is a little iffy, like you misunderstand a word and you go off topic a little bit, you could still get a pretty good score if the other three categories are, well done.
Yes, exactly. So that's why it's impossible for us to know what score you could have gotten based on one thing like this. But
Right.
here's something interesting. When we're going to dive into the vocabulary here, tradition and traditional,
Mm,
this is a tricky word.
mm-hmm,
Imagine if this student had talked about a Christmas tradition or,
mm-hmm.
maybe Christmas stockings or Christmas trees, thinking of those as traditional product. Yes, this is very off topic, right? That tradition in that sense is a very different meaning, but it's possible that this student, by talking about a traditional watch, was actually on topic.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to dive in that. We're going to share that for you guys. But first, we want to share some very important advice, which is what you should do if you hear a word in a question that you do not understand, you do not know what it means, and you think that you need to know what that word means in order to provide an on topic answer.
Mm-hmm. You have to ask the examiner
Yep,
what that
you
word
have to
means.
ask.
Um, Guys, and this is especially important in part two because there's no time to waste, okay? When the examiner gives you the topic card in the booklet and the examiner says the topic out loud, like I would like you to describe a traditional product, excuse me, as soon as you get that card from the examiner and the examiner finishes telling you what to describe, the examiner starts the timer. You have 1 minute to take notes. That time does not stop for you to ask a question. Okay. So if you're looking at this for too long and you're thinking, should I ask? Should I not ask? I don't know what this means. And you're wasting the whole minute just wondering, then you completely wasted the whole thing, right? So you need to ask immediately. It's not going to hurt your score. It'll use up a little bit of that minute, but it's better for you to be on topic than off topic, right? So
Yes, if you spend that whole minute preparing what you think might possibly be the on topic answer and then think, I'm just going to make sure and ask about this word. And then it turns out you misunderstood and you spent that time preparing an answer that's off topic. How devastating would that be? Ask first, ask right in the beginning.
That would be so sad. I mean, I know it is because I've seen students do that and it kind of takes them out of the whole thing for the rest of the test. Like, not only are you unprepared for part two, so you probably do not fill that 2 minutes fluently or confidently, right? So that obviously brings down your score, but then you're just like deflated for part three as well, because you're just like in your head about it and like, oh my God, I ruined my score. What am I gonna do?
It's so hard to pull yourself out of that headspace, right? If you feel like you screwed up in a big way, that's a really hard thing to do, to be like, stop and feel confident now. So we need to avoid the mistake in the first place. Yeah.
I wish we had control over our brains like that. Like, brain, stop. You're nervous? Don't be nervous. Be confident. Go. Like, if any of you have the trick to do that, let us know. But really, the only way to do that is to be as prepared as possible. Listen to us so we can tell you what to do. If you don't know a word, ask immediately. And that's not just for part two. That's for anything on the speaking test.
And I think this is such a good note, because I know a lot of students that assume asking what a word means, asking for a question to be repeated is for sure going to affect their score. Right. So we're here to tell you, Jessica, with her 14 years of experience as an examiner, it does not. It doesn't. If you have to ask for every word to be defined, that's a different story. If you have one word, maybe two words you don't understand, absolutely ask. That's not pulling down your score.
Exactly. So let's get into this, because this is a weird topic, honestly. Like,
yes.
I'm wondering if this listener remembered all the words correctly. But I know that IELTS comes out with some super weird questions. So it is possible that this was the part two topic. Describe your favorite traditional product. I'm assuming like it would be from your country. You know, that makes more sense to me. Describe your favorite traditional product from your country. So I think the student interpreted this as correct. It would be a product, an item, a good that is considered like retro, considered like old, because there are more modern versions of this product. Like, whatever this thing is, this object is, it existed in a form for a long time, but now we have updated it and we don't really use that anymore.
Right. I have a good example where I still use a mortar and pestle. If you guys haven't heard of that, it's where you have something flat and then you have something that crushes in it, and you can use it to crush herbs or garlic. And it has definitely been updated. We now have garlic presses. We have all these other things, but a traditional product that some people still use is the good old fashioned mortar and pestle. And I could imagine.
I thought it was pestle.
No, it's pronounced pestle, but there is a T in the word. I've always heard it pronounced mortar and pestle with a silent T. But I wonder if both are accepted pronunciations. I've never heard pestle.
But that is some great bonus traditional object vocab for you guys. So long story short, guys, I think this person's guess was correct. I think describing like an old watch, it would be like an analog watch, right? With like numbers on it and a clock face. That would be a traditional product, because we don't use that as much anymore. I mean, again, so if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see, but
you have a smartwatch? Are you going to show us the smartwatch?
I have a Fitbit, and it's just this black band around my wrist.
List tattoo. Oh my gosh, I love it so much.
And my to-do list tattooed on my hand. That's not traditional. I'm a fun mix between traditional and that. But anyway, guys, so like, This, like a smartwatch or a Fitbit, like these things are the modern equivalent of this old clock face traditional product thing he's talking about. So I think his interpretation was correct. But as just like a last sort of piece of advice, Aubrey, I think this is the hardest part to type to get, is describing an object. Do you have any hints for our students, any strategies for how they can prepare for
Yes.
that? Because that's definitely the
It
hardest one
is
to get.
hard. You're right. To fill 2 minutes describing an object
Oof,
is not easy. I definitely recommend comparing and contrasting. You're going to be able to
totally.
use lots of great linking words. We recently covered a lot of linking words for comparing and contrasting. Go back and check it out if you missed that, right? Speaking of this, having said that, we shared those. And if
Yeah.
you do, for example, the watch, compare smartwatches to this traditional watch that you
Hmm.
love. Or if you talk about a mortar and pestle, talk about the updated gadgets and why you prefer something more traditional. Or even if you don't, why nobody does, because this isn't, oh, it is my favorite traditional product. You would
Hmm.
want to share why. Why
Yeah.
is this your favorite product? Why do you prefer it over other things? And you can definitely fill 2 minutes when you start comparing it to other things and
Totally.
sharing why you like it better.
Totally. And my piece of advice, guys, is to choose a product that you actually have, that
Oh,
you
yeah.
have owned or do own, because then you'll have some sort of story about it. Like in the beginning of the episode, I described, my earrings, you know what I mean? And I could tell you the whole story of how I got them and the event that we were at in this place called Halloween Town and everything we did there, like go to a haunted house. And I wore my new earrings the whole time. And I mean, there's always like, if you choose something personal in part two, you will always have more to say. There will be some sort of story that you could
Yes, as
dive
long as you
into.
describe it, you can then go into
Right.
other details that are at all related. I love that your earrings are so perfect for this because, like, the slide in it, the negative is so traditional and
Oh my
old
God.
timey, but
So
the
true.
earrings are actually so modern. I've never seen anything like them. They're so cool. It'd be like
I
the perfect
just
thing to
I
describe on
have
this
to make
topic.
like the Home Alone face. Ha
Yes.
ha. Because
So perfect.
oh my gosh, everything is coming together today. That's
Yes.
so true. Cuz photo negatives, nobody takes photographs like that anymore
No,
with negatives.
so
Okay.
funny.
Anyway, guys, find this video on YouTube. There's a lot to see today. IELTS Energy TV on YouTube. And if this is your first episode, welcome. Remember to hit follow wherever you're listening, Amazon Music, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. And remember, tomorrow, guys, we have a very special announcement of a brand new IELTS speaking challenge. So remember to listen tomorrow. All right. Awesome, Aubrey. I'll see you then.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.